Not a genius, not a pioneer, merely a shadow behind every major turning point of the digital age. While others wrote code, this one wrote the rules. While visionaries invented, this one owned the market. And as the world fumbled to find its path, an empire silently took form, not through innovation, but through absolute control. A symbol of progress, or the architect of digital authoritarianism? What's hidden behind the brightest lights might just be the truth history deliberately tries to forget. Now step into the core of the truth, where glory and manipulation collide to forge a legend no one dares to name. The uninvited ruler of a golden opportunity. The tech world doesn't reward the best, it rewards the one who moves first and dares to climb on the corpses of others. When a major player refused to patch its system, it wasn't a tech error, it was a strategic vacuum. And a man with nothing but nerve and timing stepped in like he was born to seize the throne. No degrees, no legacy, just risk and brain. And so began the reign of someone who drove the industry from the back seat and won the race by shortcut. He didn't need to write the perfect code. He simply acquired a half-baked system from elsewhere, renamed it, repackaged it, and sold it like a miracle. What's wrong with that? The fault lay in those who missed the opportunity. He called it vision. And he wasn't wrong. In this game, the winner isn't the first mover, it's the last one standing. He didn't need to invent anything. He just needed to make sure nobody else got to finish their pitch. So what's the lesson? Opportunity belongs to those who act before others even realize something is happening. He didn't create anything legendary at first, but he knew how to take something broken, give it a clean name, and sell it to someone desperate. No genius needed. Just guts, cold-blooded execution, and a poker face. Don't ask how he won. Ask why the rest didn't dare to play the same game. That's the real revelation hidden beneath the origin story. Walking on others' footprints. Nobody remembers the original creators if they can't sell their idea. In this world, whoever launches first wins, regardless of who came up with it. He watched, he learned, then he acted. While inventors were still refining, he repackaged their brilliance, stamped his label, signed contracts, and shipped it. What he called innovation was, in truth, intelligent repurposing. And intelligence always beats purity. Visionaries want to be right. He wanted to be rich. Guess who gets the spotlight? He didn't invent the graphical interface. He cloned the map and skipped ahead. They accused him of copying. He called it go-to-market optimization. And the market sided with him. Users didn't care who thought of it first, they just wanted something that worked and was affordable. That's how he won. Not by brilliance, by efficiency, and a well-calibrated shamelessness. In this arena, ethics don't get you a distribution deal, speed and strategy do. When sued for stealing ideas, he didn't panic. He smiled and proved that no one owned the concept itself. Courts agreed. In this world, no one owns an idea, only market share. And he owned it. Morality? That's for losers. He broke no law, he simply rewrote the game. So if you want to win, don't wait for permission. Take what's on the table and convince the world it was always yours. That's how empires are made. Lessons from a forgotten laboratory. There was once a tech research center dubbed the Hogwarts of Innovation. There, the first mouse, the first icons, the first windows were born. But tragically, the creators didn't commercialize their magic. They observed, they hesitated, and in that hesitation, two young outsiders walked in and walked away with the gold. One transformed it into visual artistry. The other, he didn't beautify it. He standardized it. And just like that, history began rewriting itself in the hands of thieves with better packaging. No one questioned where the third guy got his inspiration. People only asked, does it work? Is it user-friendly? The answer was yes, and that was enough. The interface launched, the product sold, the tech ran smoothly. Meanwhile, the original inventors faded into a footnote. The public doesn't care who creates, they care who delivers. And he delivered. With lightning speed. No invention needed. Just the guts to steal, simplify, and scale before anyone else even filed the patent. Here's the brutal truth. Innovation isn't enough. In fact, inventing without market vision is suicide. In the tech arena, the name on the patent means nothing compared to the name on the invoice. And he understood this better than anyone. While others perfected their masterpieces, he perfected distribution. By the time they took the stage, he'd already sold every seat in the auditorium. So, who was the smarter player? History has already answered that question, with silence. Breaking free from the shadow of a father figure. There's a cruel irony in tech. The pioneers rarely harvest the fruit of their labor. The father of the graphical interface kept it locked in a drawer like sacred scripture. Meanwhile, two youngsters passed through, peered in, and ran off with the safe. One used it to start a visual revolution. The other, he didn't reinvent. He simply declared, "This is the new standard." And with that decree, an entire era shifted, not because of invention, but because of manipulation. Nobody asked where the third man copied from. They just asked, is it fast? Is it cheap? Once he delivered, nobody cared where it came from. The software shipped, the masses adopted it, the innovators were forgotten. The market crowned its king, not for originality, but for reach. This wasn't a war of ideas, it was a war of execution, and he executed flawlessly. The creator got the patent, the imitator got the planet. He didn't need medals, he needed cash flow. Creativity, left unmonetized, is like art sealed in a vault, and when revenue starts flowing in one direction, it drowns everything else. He learned to divorce emotion from strategy, to turn others' breakthroughs into stepping stones. Glory doesn't favor the kind-hearted. Glory belongs to the one who can seize everything and never flinch. It's not about credit, it's about control, and he chose control every single time. The three-kingdom war of tech titans. A quiet battlefield emerged between three forces. One with a fruit logo, one with a blue empire, and the silent tactician in the middle. He never fought head-on. He waited until blood was drawn, then moved in. He allied with both, only to betray both later. He didn't play to win. He played to make sure no one else could. Dominance wasn't about standing taller, it was about cutting everyone else at the knees. The bold got crushed, the creative got suffocated, but the one who manipulated distribution rules survived. He launched his system. He coerced hardware companies into bundling it. He didn't dominate by quality, he dominated by default. When his software became pre-installed on every machine, the war ended quietly, no one noticed. But the market had already surrendered. It wasn't a product, it was a regime. Think you live in a free market? Try selling a computer without his system. Consumers panic, retailers reject it, manufacturers call him back to plead for licensing. That's not innovation, that's a forced ecosystem. No one gives direct orders, yet everyone submits because he didn't sell software. He sold access, and everyone needed access. That's how a strategist becomes an emperor without ever drawing a sword. The ghost of control, from code to human beings. Inside that company, no one felt truly free. Leadership didn't mean guidance. It meant a surveillance mechanism wearing human skin. Every line of code was reviewed, every decision needed his approval. Creativity wasn't rewarded. Obedience was. Employees praised his genius, but whispered about the suffocating presence looming over them. Innovation was filtered through a single lens. No deviation, no divergence, just total alignment or elimination. Maybe it wasn't intentional, maybe it was self-preservation in a cutthroat world. But regardless of intent, the effect remained. Creativity was stripped away. Precision, speed, and loyalty became the only currencies. Everyone existed to serve one goal: keep the machine running. The best engineers or brightest managers didn't matter if they posed a threat. Stability came before brilliance, and he made sure of it. The result? A clockwork empire. Every piece functioning perfectly, but devoid of soul. He didn't want collaborators, he wanted cogs. A flawless machine in terms of efficiency, but frozen in inspiration. That was the price. And he paid it without hesitation, because in his world, anything could be sacrificed, except the system. The system was sacred. The rest, replaceable. The co-founder, who became a financial liability. The longtime co-founder, the man who wrote the first lines of code with him, one day received devastating news. A serious illness. But the real shock wasn't the diagnosis, it was the vanishing shares, the diluted authority, the quiet erasure from the company's legacy. Whispers began. Had the timing been exploited? No one could prove it, but the eerie precision of it all sent chills through the corridors. Trust, it seemed, had an expiration date tied to stock value. If it were true, then friendship was nothing but a bootstrap strategy. Once the company matured, the partner became dead weight to be trimmed. No harsh words were said, just spreadsheets, just board votes, all legal, all logical. But fairness? That vanished with the last signature. They once split sandwiches, now they split equity, and one side ended up empty-handed. Loyalty, it turns out, is a non-renewable resource in the world of billion-dollar empires. He'd say, "I did it for the company," but the truth hiding behind that line? This company is mine, not ours. And from that moment, the myth of two garage buddies cracked. One landed on magazine covers. The other, without a memoir, would have disappeared entirely. This was no falling out. This was industrialized friendship termination. And he was the lead engineer, designing a system that optimized power by cutting away human bonds like excess code. The invisible strings, choking an entire industry. There was no need to sign exclusivity contracts. He just offered a choice. Bundle his software, or lose your business. And the hardware industry buckled. This was the moment he transitioned from competitor to rulemaker. No one could win without his blessing. Every new computer carried his product, not because it was the best, but because it was inescapable, yet no fingerprints were visible. It was domination without declaration, the ultimate power move. Think the market is free? Try selling a device without his operating system. Confused customers, reluctant retailers, frustrated manufacturers. They all came crawling back. He didn't offer software, he offered access. Access to survival. And when access becomes a monopoly, competition becomes fantasy. He didn't need to break rivals, he simply needed to outlast them. And once he did, he controlled not just pricing, but the entire direction of an industry. Those who tried to escape his orbit were crushed. Some disappeared, some were sued, some got acquired and buried. No sabotage necessary, just presence. Presence so overwhelming that innovation couldn't breathe. He didn't need to destroy creativity, he just needed to be stronger than it. And from that strength came quiet tyranny, not enforced by guns or bans, but by market inevitability. The kind of rule that feels natural until you try to opt out. The charity cloak, a cleansing campaign? One day, the empire builder rebranded. From ruthless tactician to global savior, he built foundations, spoke about vaccines, clean water, education. The media bowed. He was no longer a monopolist, he was a philanthropist. But skeptics raised eyebrows. Was this redemption or rebranding? Years of lawsuits, manipulation, and corporate strong-arming faded under a halo of giving. It looked too perfect. Like a public relations miracle crafted by someone who'd mastered perception. There's no denying the impact. Millions of lives improved. But does that erase the companies crushed? The creators buried? The ecosystem strangled? Could generosity rewrite the legacy of control? Maybe not. But he knew something others didn't. History isn't written in facts, it's written in forgiveness. And nothing earns forgiveness faster than funding hospitals. In an attention economy, charity is the strongest memory override ever invented, and he deployed it flawlessly. Want to test the sincerity? Look at what he didn't advertise. Funding vaccinations and surveillance, building schools and harvesting data. Maybe charity wasn't redemption. Maybe it was expansion. A softer empire. A moral interface hiding the same root code. He didn't deny the suspicion, he didn't need to. Because once the public feels gratitude, they forget the past. That's not kindness, that's architecture. And he built it pixel by pixel. The nameless wizard's legacy. The final question isn't whether he was brilliant, it's what he left behind. An operating system, a global monopoly, and a new concept that a manipulator can become a legend if they narrate their story well enough. He didn't invent, he rearranged, and in doing so, he coded a new world. Today, his fingerprints are on every device, not as a signature, but as the framework itself. He didn't seek worship, he sought permanence. No one remembers the crushed competitors. They're gone, erased, their products buried, their innovations forgotten. But his software remains, as if there were never any alternatives, as if he was inevitable. That's the power of control, making people believe there was never another choice. He didn't win by being loved, he won by being unavoidable. And that, more than anything, is his greatest innovation. He didn't leave behind his name, he left a system, a methodology, a playbook anyone can use. Steal ideas, dominate distribution, neutralize threats, cleanse with charity, control public emotion. This isn't one man's legacy, it's a replicable structure of 21st century dominance. And if no one sees it, that's because it works. The system doesn't need affection. It just needs to never be forgotten. And right now, it's still running inside your screen. One doesn't need to be the best to rule the world. One only needs to bend the rules and control the perception. When history is rewritten by the keyboard of the victor, the defeated lose more than presence. They lose narrative. This empire wasn't built on invention, but on domination. Of markets, of memory, of options. This isn't just about a man. It's about the framework of 21st century power. What we call freedom is often just a graphical interface. Behind it, the source code of an invisible empire. And it's still running,